I'll try not to.
Are you open there? Okay, what we have is the superior vena cava showing the internal thoracic and internal mammary.
No, I'm always tired now. Been working.
And right there. So superior vena cava will be fed by the brachiocephalic on both sides. Brachiocephalic will also be fed by the subclavian on the right as well as on the left, and external jugular. So external jugular meanders out around the cheek, as you can see over here. You will have an internal jugular on some cats, and this one is the internal jugular. Unfortunately, it didn't get much blue, but you can also see a little remnant of it on the right side, but it's not very, it's been broken. A lot of times they don't get much dye, so they rupture. Okay, if I move the heart to the left, what I'm going to find is the azygos vein. The azygos in human, there's going to be a hemiazygos and an azygos, and that's going to drain the dorsal body wall of the thorax. So all of this is going to be dorsal body wall. This is azygos dumping into the superior vena cava. It will then go into the right atrium. Okay.
What is that one named after?
Azygos, I'm not exactly sure.
That's the only one that's
It's a little unusual. Okay, now if I go inferior to the diaphragm or inferior to the heart, I'm actually going to find the inferior vena cava.
It's not very blue.
Yeah, it didn't get very blue only because I opened it up and it really didn't have much color in it. So now, once I perforate diaphragm, I still have inferior vena cava right here, but right here, I've taken a chunk off the top of the liver, or the superior surface of the liver, so that would be the hepatic vein. If I'm looking for hepatic portal is going to be right in this region right here. So you just have to look for something that's slightly blue. We didn't get much blue down here. Okay, so let's shift everything over to the right so we can continue to see some of the other structures. Now, your inferior vena cava is going to be here. It's going to feed the adrenal gland by way of the adrenal lumbar. The adrenal lumbar vein runs right over the surface of the adrenal gland, and then directly below that, you're going to have the renal vein. The other renal vein on the other side is probably a little bit better. You can somewhat see it over here. Okay, it's a little blue, not significantly so. Now what will happen is the spermatic vein will dump into the left renal. And again, you can't really see it all that well, but this structure would be going right into left renal. So that would be the spermatic. Now coming down, we're going to have the inferior vena cava. Then if I shift everything again, we're able to see the beautiful iliolumbar artery and vein. Then we're going to see a split. So the inferior vena cava will end there and become common iliac vein, sending off the median sacral Then down a little bit farther, this would be the internal iliac. Anything after internal would become external iliac. Send off deep femoral vein, sending off femoral vein, and saphenous right through there. Okay? So if we need to see internal iliac, it's right there. Median sacral is right there. Where it splits will be right here. So iliolumbar there. Okay, that's it for the veins, except I have to do femoral and then go to saphenous. Saphenous is going to be on the distal portion of the femur and go down towards the tibia. That would be the saphenous vein. When we do arteries, typically they're going to be slightly brighter in color. We're going to start with our aortic arch, right here. Then aortic arch is going to give off a brachiocephalic. Brachiocephalic splits 3 ways. We're going to send off the right subclavian, the right common carotid, and the left common carotid. This is the left subclavian all by itself. The subclavian will then give off the first branch, which is going to be the vertebral. The vertebral is going to be right here. It's a little bit harder to see, but then we're going to get costocervical, thyrocervical, etc. So our carotids will come up, and we will also have an internal and an external carotid. They're both going in the direction that they portray, with external going externally and internal going internally. Now, if I move everything over, you should be able to see this. That's all of the descending aorta off of the aortic arch. Here are your intercostals. Right there, right there, right there, right there. As soon as the thoracic aorta perforates the diaphragm, it becomes abdominal aorta. And this is where we start to send off our celiac trunk. Our celiac trunk is going to split 3 ways. Our first division off the celiac trunk is going to be the hepatic. This one is going to be the gastric. This one is going to be the splenic. So in the order of the organs, liver, stomach, spleen. You'll see it coming directly off the celiac trunk. Liver. Oops, sorry about that. The liver's a big one. So the liver is here. Hepatic is liver, right there. This is gastric. This is splenic. So liver, stomach, spleen. And you can see spleen once we get that separated a little bit. Now, the next one that's also unpaired is going to be the superior mesenteric right there. Okay? Then we do adrenolumbar. You can see it on the dorsal body wall here. You'll see renal, and we'll talk more about renal next week. And then what we're going to have is abdominal aorta, and you will see the lumbars. There should be about 7 pairs of those. Once we get a little bit lower, you will see one that breaks off and goes by itself to the descending colon. This one right here is the counterpart to the superior mesenteric. It's the inferior mesenteric. Then we take all our contents and we're going to shift them again. So what we have now is right here, iliolumbar. Then we're doing external iliac, common iliac, internal, and caudal. So external iliac then perforates the wall to send off deep femoral, then femoral. But our internal or common iliac is going to send off internals. So common is there, internal, and caudal.
That sucks. Let's pick some from the trash.
Okay? So those are all the vessels of the lower extremity. So deep femoral.
Can you just show me the celiac trunk one more